What is up, YouTube? This is the Alphonsus John, Crumpet Eater, Wipers or Shit Extraordinaire.
Woo!
I'll accept that.
Hi, Alphonsus.
So, guys, we got Evan over here. Say hi to the camera, Evan.
Hey, Fable, how you doing?
Alright, so you know that Zodiac Timepiece profile you guys been wanting for a while? Yeah, no, we're doing a Zodiac Timepiece, but it's not the one that you guys are probably expecting. It's Demiurge. Evan, you made it Evan, Gen 1 with Demiurge, only losing the Blade Master through a Miracle Kill 10-10 Blade Master.
Yeah.
He's going to explain his awesome Demiurge deck, the things he does, why he does it, and all that good stuff.
Sure, so I guess I'll just start out with the trigger lineup. Very simple. Start out with 2 draw triggers, 1 of each. Just 2 draw triggers. You also want very different names in this deck, very important. You need to bind different names to use Demiurge. If you have multiple copies in your bind zone, you're gonna have a bad time. Next, 6 critical triggers, 2 of each art. Again, self-explanatory, we'll just play 6 crit.
While I was playing all my games, I really tried to crap out.
4 heal triggers, 2 of each art. Again, different names, more likelihood of both of them not getting binded. And finally, we play 3 stand triggers, 1 Rooster, because it's hilarious, and 3 Steam Tamer Mara. Steam Tamer Mara's effect is when she's placed on the rearguard circle or the guardian circle, counterblast 1, draw 1 card, then choose a unit in your hand and bind it face up, then soul charge 1. This actually can accelerate to your Demiurge stack faster. It's also a very good guardian. You can actually, if you're late into the game and you know what your stack is, you can actually soul charge the appropriate card or draw the appropriate card that you need. And you actually do value the extra soul because we are, I'll explain why in a second.
You don't like the sheet?
I do like the sheet, it's just one is funnier than the other. Like, there's more jokes you can make with the Rooster, hint hint. And we're playing 3 Pulsar Sentry Draco kids, the starter. So, beginning of your ride phase, you may reveal a grade 3 Gear Colossus. If you do, bind the top card of your deck. Very good card. I mean, a couple of the effects in this deck, they will rest a unit before going off. So this is your primary rest target because it has a second effect. G-Break 1, Soul Blast 1, and retire itself. Bind the top card of your deck. If it's a Zodiac Time Beast and you're on a Gear Colossus Vanguard, you may draw 1 card. So basically you can rest it with Rewind Tiger, rest it with Nibble Rat, and then you can just pop it off its own effect and net full benefit. Okay, next grade 1, self-explanatory, 4 Steam Tamer Arcas. Just a perfect card that recycles itself, fuels the bind zone. Good stuff. Next, we play 2 Pulsar Bling Hawks. Bling Hawk's ability, when it's placed on the Guardian Circle, if I have a Gear Colossus Vanguard, I bind the top card of my deck and it gains an extra plus 5,000 power. So basically, 1 card guard for a 10k shield. It also accelerates the bind zone. Very good card. Next, we're playing 3 Pulsar Revolver Draco kids, Zodiac Time Beast Stride Enabler. I use it mainly in case I don't have the Colossus Grade 3. I would like to replace, one of my other Grade 3s, ideally, so I can start getting the starter going, or I can actually have the appropriate ride. And Stride Fodder, yeah, pretty basic. Then we play 1 Chrono Dash Peccary, just another differently named Zodiac Time Beast, aka Vanilla, not bad, and 1 Chrono Ethel Shackle. If you're attacking the opponent's Vanguard and you're on Zodiac, plus 4,000. Again, 1 extra Zodiac. Pretty self-explanatory. And finally, 2 Pulsar Nibble Rats, my favorite grade 1 of the deck. So, from the hand, it has the ability to bind itself and rest a rearguard. If you pay the cost, you may draw 1 card. Then, if it's in the bind zone, you can, at Gene Break 1, you can counterblast 1, call it to Guardian Circle, and bind the top card of your deck. So it's a free 5k shield from the bind zone, it replaces itself, you'll get that card back, and it's really nice.
And it's worth nothing. You don't want to run more?
Unfortunately, I tried 3, and I kept seeing more than 1 in the bind zone, and that was causing issues. So next, 1 Chrono Beat Buffalo, just an 11k attacker, different Zodiac. 1 Pulsar Tamer Manish, this is just a choice. It has resist if you're on a Zodiac, so pretty nice, can't be touched. If it attacks the opponent's Vanguard, you can have it gain 2,000 power for every of your other Zodiac Time Beast rearguards, and if it does, at the end of the battle, bind itself. So boom, sets itself up into the bind zone for you. 1 10k Vanilla to Zodiac. 1 Speedy Bunny, just because it's a Zodiac. And my favorite ride of the deck, Pulsar Valve Laser Dragon. It's an 11k grade 2. It can attack unless you have a unit in the bind zone, but that's really not an issue with this deck. You have bind zone perpetually for the end of time. Also, from the bind zone, you can counterblast 1 and soul blast 1, call itself out, and then bind top card of the deck. So it's you counterblast 1, soul blast 1, call a card out for free from out using your hand, replace itself in the bind zone. And finally, oh wait, no, we have 1 more. 1 Pulsar Tamer Lugalar. again, just a Zodiac name. You'll never really use the effect, but it's Soul Blast 1. When your drive check reveals a grade 3, you can time leap it. I mean, that's it. I mean, it's whatever. If it happens, it happens. I just use it for the name. And it's also an 11k attacker, so can't complain. And finally, the key grade 2 for Pulsar, Rewind Tiger. The best grade 2 in the deck. The good variant, quote unquote, uses this as forward well. Counterblast 1, rest a unit when you place it from your hand to the rearguard circle. Pay the cost if you do, bind the top card of your deck. If it's a Zodiac Time Beast, draw 1. And it gains plus 2,000 power. Actually very important with the deck, and I'll explain in a little bit why, but you can rush early on. If your opponent's playing 10k bases, you can call this is a 10k. If you happen to draw the 1 8k, hey, you have a 16k line, so I mean, hey. And if your opponent wants to be cheeky and play the grade 2 game, you can play it right back. We play 4 of these, a 10k vanilla and 11k vanilla. We can grade 2 just as hard as you can. Unless you're blasters, then we'll have a talk later. Okay, finally grade 3s. 1 Chrono Jet Dragon G, it's just a Zodiac. I mean, you can say as much as you want about this card, as good as it is. It's a very good card, don't get me wrong. Just not for what I'm doing it, just not what I'm using it for. Just using it for the name. 1 Pulsar Replenish Kotal. Again, just for the name. Never going to use the effect, but if you place it from your field from the deck, if you have a Zodiac Time Beast rearguard and no unflip damage, unflip 1 damage and plus 3,000 power. Again, just the name. 1 Chrono Fang Tiger G. Again, just the name, but it's actually a very good rearguard. After the battle that attacks, Soul Blast 1, choose one of your other rearguards, bind it face up, more bind zone acceleration, choose a unit in the same column as this card, and put him on the bottom of the deck. So you have a little bit of spot removal, you can fuel your bind zone. I just like it because, you know, grade 3 with Zodiac. And finally, 1 Chrono Fang Tiger. When it's placed from on Vanguard Circle, you can bind a card from your hand. You choose one of your opponent's rear guards, they spin it into their deck for a unit with -2 grades, and then shuffles. Usually I just use this to pounce starters if I can't get the Colossus. This is your ideal secondary ride. Also, if you're G-Break 2, you can bind a card from hand for cost of stride, so more bind zone acceleration if you're really, really, really out of luck. And you can actually win on this. You won't be able to Demiurge as well as you would hope, but you can still make other plays. And finally, the king of the deck, Forge. 4 Pulsar Jurassic Colossus, excuse me. Best card in the deck. So, when you ride this card, you can discard 1 unit from your hand. If you do, you reveal the top 3 cards. You choose 1, you put 1 in your hand, 1 in the bind zone, and the last one goes to the drop zone. So you can fish out Perfect Guards, you can fish out Stride Fodder, you can fish out Heal Triggers to G-Guard with. Just a lot of options. You get free card. Well, it's not really free. You're paying the cost of this card, so you're basically netting even, but very good. Also, almost forgot, the most important part about this card. When you stride, you may draw 1 card. If you do, bind a card from your hand face up, and your Vanguard gets 1,000 power for every card currently sitting in your bind zone. This is not a continuous effect. This is not continuously checked. Whatever the number is on the effect, that's the number until end of turn. So that's why this card is not terrible. If this was continuously checking, after you Demiurge, your Vanguard would be pretty weak, and it wouldn't be as threatening. No, actually, either I was stuck on grade 2 or I had it.
Your 8K Tiger helped you draw into it?
Oh, you have no idea. Oh, I love it. All right, so we're gonna get into the G zone now. Couple choices. There's some things in here that I really don't like. I never really went into them, but I wouldn't really take them out per se unless I really could find something better. We'll start with just cards that I'm never gonna use, but options to keep open. 2 Meta Pulsar Avenir Phoenix. Very good cards. Counterblast 1 and flip a copy of itself. When it attacks, check the top 5 cards of your deck. You can grab up to 2 for each face-up card in your G-Zone, call them to rearguard circle, and put the rest on the bottom in any order. Also, continuously G-Break 3. Every one of your rearguards get plus 2,000 power. I mean, I never went into it. I don't see myself going into it. It's just there as an option. It's G-Assist, pitch, whatever you want from it. Next, we have 1 copy of Meta Pulsar Huanglong. Again, another card I really don't go into, but there's situations where this actually is a good card. So it's basically at the end of the battle that it attacks Vanguard. Counterblast 1, choose a grade 1 or higher from the bind zone. Either call it to rearguard or bounce it to your hand. So you can grab Perfect Guards, you can grab Stride Fodder, Heal Trigger to G-Guard with. I like to grab Manish. I would attack with Manish, bind herself, then Huanglong, and then grab the Manish, do it again. You can loop a couple attacks. Nice. Nice, and I'm in 18th. Okay, again, you really don't go into this, but hey, there's situations where it actually works, so might as well keep it around. Next, we're getting into my favorite one above the G Zone. Meta Pulsar Mystery Freeze Dragon. Now, this card has actually won me a game today. This is my backup to Demiurge. If my Demiurge turn fails, this is my Shrine afterwards. Counterblast 2, shuffle the deck. Anytime you want, so you can fill up your bind zone first, do whatever you want, but Counterblast 2, shuffle your deck. Reveal the top 4, bind the top 4 cards of your deck. Basically, if you, any grade that you reveal, 0, 1, or 2, your opponent cannot call those cards from the hand to Guardian Circle, and if you bind a grade 3 with the skill, you get 1 extra drive check. So what I like to do actually is I would go Demiurge. I would purposely put a bunch of 1 and 3s on the bottom of the stack. If the Demiurge turn fails, I have the bottom of the stack, I have a bunch of 1 and 3s to guarantee they can't use Sentinels to guard this, or grade 3s to get the quad drive. Very good option. Love that card. 1 Meta Pulsar Split Split Pegasus, excuse me. You're never gonna go into this. You're just gonna flip this with this. It's just there to be flipped with Ultra Dragon. Yes, gives 1,000 power to the front row as long as this is face up. And we play 2 Ultra Dragons. I only went into it once per game usually, but you definitely want it too, just in case there's situations where it's like, oh, I miscalculated or I messed up the stack, and now I can't stride. This is your first stride, by the way. Counterblast 1 from the face down. Bind a card from your hand, stride this from face down. So again, accelerating your bind zone. Skill, flip up anything you want in the G zone. Usually, again, split Pegasus for the power. Check the top 5 cards of your deck. Bind up to 2 units from amongst them, face up. Your Vanguard gets 2,000 for every card in the bind zone, including an unflip if you're at 5 or more in the bind. If you play it, I mean, usually I was about 5 when I short into this, so Colossus would give this 5,000. I could do a couple more shenanigans, get up to about 8 or 9, and then I would have about a 49, 50k Altered Fate Dragon on my first stride. Just swinging, either Perfect Guard it or take it. I mean, but I just use it to accelerate bind zone, and I get that counterblast back. I can just throw down another Rewind Tiger or whatever I please. 2 Interdimensional Dragon Bind Time Dragons. This was a late choice for me. I again needed to fill out rear guard or G zone space. This actually is the reason why I did very well against my Blaster matchup in round 5, because I just sent their entire field back to the deck. Because as long as I have 5 or more bind zone, I always do, you're losing your entire field. So Counterblast 2, Soul Blast 1, when you declare attack, flip a copy of Bind Time. Choose at least, you have to bind at least 1 of your rear guards, which kind of is unfortunate, but it's really not that bad. Especially if you want to accelerate bind zone a little bit more. You bind up to 1, you can bind as many as you want. Your opponent returns as many rear guards on their field to the bottom of the deck as units in your bind zone. Usually you'll have at least 5, so you can actually board wipe your opponent on first turn if you G-guarded on your first. Like if your opponent goes first and strides first, then you can actually G-guard first, and then you can go into this and board wipe them if they tried to rush or be cheeky, or if they're playing blasters and you don't want to deal with Fogels and Barkles just sitting everywhere. Very good card. Also, if you're on a Gear Beast, you Soul Charge 2, unflip 2. Oh, also forgot, most important part, this gets 10k in crit after you pay cost. So this is 36. Again, you can actually get up to about 41 higher because of the Colossus. You got some pretty strong options. Again, the bottom 2, the Soul Charge 2, Unflip 2, will only work if you're on one of the Chrono Fangs, because you need it with Gear Beast Heart. This is not a Gear Beast, but we don't care. But I'm just using it for field control. And finally, 2 Deus Ex Machina Demiurge, the main card of the deck. The boy. So, Demiurge's ability. This is not Generation Break 1, folks. You can do this on first ride if you have the proper setup, and I have done it. Choose 12 Zodiac Time Beast units with different names from your bind zone and put them in the drop zone. Then choose any 12 cards from your drop zone and put them on top of the deck in any order you so please. Basically, you go off of the Colossus. You should have at least 12. This will make it about 38. You can put a booster back there, recommended, make it around 41k, and it's basically 41k to your Vanguard, no grade 1s or higher. Can you no pass this? If not, just shake my hand right now and give me the win.
Did you go into it twice?
I can go into it twice. I actually have not gotten into. Everyone's died before I got the chance. But yeah, you can do this first ride if you so please. The most important thing is the Sentinel blocking on the grade 1s. You can G-guard this card, you can drop 10Ks, you can intercept, whatever you please. But this reason why I like this so much in conjunction with something like, say, Mystery Freeze, is I will purposely put a ton of grade 1s on the bottom with this stack. If this fails for whatever reason, I will go into this next turn and I will bind a grade 1 most likely, and you will still be Sentinel blocked. So all those zeros that you drop protecting from this, you won't have for this.
Your Mystery Freezes and your Demiurges now, boys. The time is now.
I mean, yeah. And finally, G-Guards. We're playing 5 G-Guards because, again, there's not enough space. Like, you alter Demiurge, freeze, Demiurge, that's it. So it just doesn't matter at this point. 2, Retroactive Time Maiden Ularus. Very good G-Guard. Still, in my opinion, one of the better ones that Gear Chronicles have. When it's placed on Guardian Circle, choose a trigger and a non-trigger, put them on the bottom of the deck. I actually won a game because of this against the Blasters. Kind of a long story, but basically I was at 2 cards in deck. I put back a heal trigger and a grade 3. I called this to the Guardian Circle, the stand trigger that soul charges and draws 1. Of course, it's not the ones I'm looking for. No, it's still in here. Basically, I had 2 in deck at the point. I knew the top one was a heal, so I no-guard the Alfred Oath, heal on 6, as I knew what was going to happen. Then I refunded another card down into 2, and I drew my grade 3 in Demiurge for game. So, again, it's gets plus 5,000 shield as well, so, you know. Recycles cards. If you're close to decking out and you need, like, 1 extra card for the Colossus effect, which happens a lot, you do get close to decking out, but you don't care. You do need to Uluru, just to put 2 back to guarantee you can draw 1 and give the power from Colossus. Very good. We play 1 new Uluru, the Time Maiden of Eternity Uluru. I haven't gone into it today because I don't have Counterblasts. But Counterblast 1, it gets 5,000 shield for every face-up card in the G-Zone. Just a fat shield late game if there's something that has guard restrict. Like, I was expecting to run into maybe, I guess, a Gilderai somewhere today. Didn't play Dark Regulars, or just something really fat, or another Demiurge, maybe. You never know. 1 Rainbow Seraph Rafana. Bounces a unit into the deck. There's a couple different combos you can do with this. My round 6 opponent was playing Dimension Police, and he wanted to be cheeky. He put the Laurel down, he swung at my rear. I refunded the rear back into the deck so the attack would whiff. Also, you can refund down another card into a second starter, or you can go down to the Sand Trigger and accelerate the Bind Zone. You have options. Also 10k shield if you do. Very good options. And finally, I wasn't going to play this, but my friend told me to put this in at the last moment, and I did. 1 Interdimensional Dragon, Pandora Chimera. Interdimensional Beast, Pandora Chimera. Counterboss 1, when it's placed on the Guardian Circle, my opponent chooses 1 of his units in the back row and puts it at the bottom of the deck. My round 2 opponent was playing, my round 3 opponent was playing Sharat. He had 1 Enigmatic Assassin in the back row to boost, and I told him to get it off the field. I can't header around, unfortunately, because I'm never going to be on Chrono Jet, so I have to make do with what I have. But yeah, Counterboss 1, spot removal is annoying things. If your opponent loads back row with Vorkles or back row with Fogles, this handles that, sort of. It's not a 100% answer to anything, by any means. It's not as good as header around, but it's still spot removal, and it gets rid of annoying back row threats that I don't like. So yeah, that's the deck.
Alright, thank you, Alex. If you guys have any comments, questions, or concerns, leave them down in the comments.
Once you want something,
If you have anything to say,
you gotta go.
Bind 12, put 12 back, and shake my hand.
All right.